updated, but they work very closely with us in ensuring that the information they give is actually updated. Now, apheresis. So one of the modalities I talked about of sickle cell disease care was chronic blood transfusion, okay? That if we can give someone with sickle cell disease blood and try to maintain their HbA, the normal blood, above a certain percentage, that this person is actually able to live a normal life without crisis. The different modalities of giving this blood. The usual way is just a simple transfusion, okay, where you put in blood and top up. Apheresis is a type of blood transfusion where you use a machine, it removes some of your sickled red cells and then puts the other. It's available, still a little bit expensive, but I think we shall get there. I've been told time is not on our side. I'm going to be available throughout this talk, but also reach out, okay, for any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Ruth. My sincere apologies. Because of time, we are very short of time. I will request all the 4 members to please walk behind Dr. Ruth as you're going for a cup of tea and surround her and ask all those questions, those on this side. Thank you, Lisa. We shall have an opportunity later, and I promise we'll pick up from where we stopped. At this juncture, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Ruth for answering all the questions and invite everyone to have a health break, which is at the top of the hall. Thank you very much. Anna and the team, I hope you're ready to receive us for our health break. And for those who would like to know our places of convenience, still as you walk up on the left side, we do have places of convenience. Thank you very much. We shall have a 20-minute break and we'll be back to start on the second aspect. So we shall be back at 10:45 a.m. Thank you.
Yes, how are you? Popular. Okay, we have very few machines, and that is why we are even called businessmen. To help us get the machines. We have about 4 free. It's not if you have a child who needs to be trained, you can do it. We have very few machines, but we have a way. Okay? We give you an appointment because it is for lining. We don't want you to come and line up the whole day for that. Please, which clinic are they attending? Which doctor do you see? But I will give you an appointment. Also, I'm seeing my patient on the 10th of December before Christmas. Yes. Yeah. This leg, please come. Who understands you? The problem we have is today you come, tomorrow you see Lima. No. You understand? That's what we want to say. Will say, please help me see this patient. I know leg ulcer. That's what we want. So we give you appointment. I know there are problems. It is a chronic leg ulcer, but we can see you. It's okay. Not every.
Hello. Testing, 1 1 2. Testing 1 1 2. Testing 1. Hello. See, check. Check. See, check. Check. Say, hello, check. Say, check. Hello, check. Say hello, check. Check, say hello, check. Hello, say check.
hush, my baby, slow down, come find your love. I'm hoping you see me, come serve it up. Loving when you stir it up. That body belong on TV. Oh, this feeling I can't hide. You're feeling up my mind, and I just don't know why.
Members, we shall have a group photo with the Vice Chancellor. He's here with us. And then thereafter, we shall resume our seats and have the opening ceremony. Members online, we're still in our break session. I hope you have had a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. We'll be starting the session shortly. Thank you.
What is the magnetic bracket? Magnetic bracket. The magnetic bracket is supposed to be here. Magnetic bracket. Magnetic, the one for holding. You don't use it? Even a bull doesn't use it.
So good morning once again. You're welcome to our opening ceremony. The Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, you're welcome. For those who may not have seen him, not in a suit and a Makerere tie, this is how he looks. Because half the time, there's a signature that he always has. So even when they told me the VC has come, I looked up. Then I looked to my right, then he was right beside me, and I did not recognize him. So you're welcome. I would like to invite Professor Sarah Chiguli to please make a few remarks, and then thereafter, she will invite the principal, who is represented by the Dean, School of Medicine, to invite the Vice Chancellor to give his opening remarks. Professor Chiguli, you're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Munube, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, the Dean, School of Medicine, representing the Principal, College of Health Sciences, all stakeholders who are with us here. We are very happy to be with you this morning. I'm speaking on behalf of two projects. One is Sparco, strengthening capacity for clinical care, research, and training in sickle cell disease. And the second one is enhancing the research capacity in sickle cell disease and associated NCDs across the lifespan. Who have organized this sickle cell engagement? We have just organized, but this is an engagement where we hope that the university, led by our Vice Chancellor, is the one that spearheads engagement of partners, of community, the Makerere engagement for sickle cell disease. Vice Chancellor, we have a number of stakeholders with us today. We have sickle cell disease patients. We call them warriors, both young and old. We have parents and relatives of people with sickle cell disease. We have religious leaders. We have representatives of the community, Fathers Union, Mothers Union, youth groups within the church, We have representatives of the cultural leaders or institutions in the country, and we are only able to get the Buganda government today. We have medical workers, including doctors, pharmacists, and others. We have sickle cell groups in Uganda, and we have faculty and students of Makerere University. And we have all come here to engage, to discuss, to talk about one of the most important and prevalent health problems in this country, sickle cell disease, to see how we can all work together to address this challenge and to contribute to improving the health of the communities of the patients. It's our hope that as a university, we can work together to address needs in our communities. And sickle cell disease is one of those great needs, not only as health sciences, as doctors, as nurses, we cannot do it alone. We need colleagues from all areas, from all disciplines in the university. We need our students, and we need everyone to join us to do this. So those are the few things that I wanted to bring out to you, but to sincerely thank you for accepting to lead this drive or stakeholder engagement. And we hope that this is just the beginning. We shall continue engaging the stakeholders. With those few words, I'd like to invite the principals, College of Health Sciences, to say a few remarks, and then invite the Vice Chancellor.
Good morning to you all. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to this important stakeholder meeting. As I've been introduced, I'm Professor Net Nachimuli. I'm the Dean School of Medicine, but standing in for the Principal College of Health Sciences, Professor Damali Nakanjako, who is in another engagement, but really sends you great greetings, and hopefully we shall be able to convey all the things we've enjoyed here to her. But I'd really like to recognize the presence of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, and to really thank you for taking time off to come and be with us. I know it's a very busy day. I'm not even sure whether you have a day which is not busy, but I think those who don't know, he's a very busy person, but the fact that he's come here means that he considers this agenda very important. I also know that he is currently drumming a lot of support for Makerere as a research-led university. Now, it's not just for the sake of doing research. We want to do research that really transform lives. And as you see, the College of Health Sciences, our vision is to be a leading and transformational institution for academic excellence and innovation in health sciences. We are one of the 10 colleges in the university, actually the oldest. We had to go the first way to pilot and people understand how collegiate system works. So the medical school, for those who don't know, was transformed into the College of Health Sciences. And we have 5 schools, and the School of Medicine, which I lead, is just one of them. There are others: Biomedical Sciences, School of Health Sciences, a School of Public Health, and a new School of Dentistry. Now, the important thing with programs like Sparco and Enrich, and many thanks to all those, Professor Chiguli, Professor Idro Musime Ndezi, and Dr. Namazi, Dr. Munube, and other colleagues in pediatrics who are really spearheading these. These are really important programs for many reasons. They really fit well into our core mandate as a College of Health Sciences, but as a university, we are supposed to be training healthcare professionals. We are supposed to be doing research, as I have highlighted, and we're also supposed to give clinical care. And as you see, there's a very nice blend in these programs. with colleagues from who would be considered mainly clinicians, but who are actually prolific academics in their own right, like Dr. Munube, fulfilling all these mandates. And I like them because they really show us the good symbiosis that happens between clinical care and training in universities. And just back to why we're here, we are discussing a very important disease, sickle cell disease. Everybody of us has been affected in some way, either as a warrior or knows another warrior. And we've lost colleagues, of course, remembering that we lost one last week, a young doctor, very promising, who was really being seen as one of those front runners in the fight against sickle cell. So in not wanting to spend so much time talking about this disease, as an obstetrician, I know that when we get a mother with sickle cell disease, we are all on our toes. The mother is likely to get complications. The baby is also likely to get complications. In fact, they rarely go home with a live baby. So in all honesty, being here is just beyond just my being a dean. Is trying to see how do we even contribute to that very particular aspect of transforming lives, making mothers get pregnant with sickle cell, have good babies, have minimal complications, and then they're able to look after their children until they are very old age. So thank you all for taking time to come. When you talk about sickle cell, you can go on the whole day, but I feel this is really a process that will continue well beyond this room. So my task for now is simple and is really to invite our dear Vice Chancellor to address us. And again, to thank him very much for coming. You're welcome.
The principal, College of Health Sciences, represented by the Dean of the School of Medicine, deans, faculty, and students from the College of Health Sciences, the principal investigator, and other members of the Sickle Cell Pan-African Consortium Project, Uganda, stakeholders of the sickle cell disease here present, including people from Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, religious leaders, cultural leaders, patients, parents, and the sickle cell disease groups. And I have just met one of my former colleagues who is working in the president's office, who is also here, and all other stakeholders present here and those attending virtually. Yes, today, many people, I was among students and they thought I was a student. Maybe they were not seeing my bald head. I am just coming from another function where we have launched the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And this is being organized jointly with the Ministry of, the Embassy of Sweden, the UN Women, and the UNFPA. But it's also graced by two artists, our own Navio, and an artist from Sweden called Timbuktu. And in his remarks, Navio actually shocked me because he was saying that in Uganda, 50% of all our women have experienced gender-based violence in one way or another. And that after COVID, that figure has risen to 95%. Now that is actually shocking. And therefore, let me begin by rallying all of you to be advocates in the fight against gender-based violence, because we must protect our mothers, we must protect our sisters and our daughters. It gives me great pleasure to open this meeting of stakeholders that are gathered to discuss ways of strengthening collaborative efforts on sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease is very common and affects people in Africa the most. Currently, over 300,000 babies are born with the disease every year in Africa alone, making sickle cell disease one of the top health priorities in Africa. Uganda is one of the top 3 most affected countries in Africa, where 1 in every 10 people carries the sickle cell gene. We have been told by doctors that sickle cell disease is caused by an abnormal type of blood called hemoglobin S. This abnormal blood type causes most of the complications of sickle cell disease. Individuals with the disease suffer from repeated pain, crisis, anemia, and infections, and in the long term, damage to almost all organs of the body. In Uganda, almost 4 out of 10 children with sickle cell disease die before they reach their 5th birthday. And the life expectancy of adults is almost 20 to 30 years, lower than the general population. Sickle cell disease also affects aspects of life, including academic achievements, employment, marriage, and the social life. I must say that I have personally experienced the pain of the families that have got children with sickle cell disease. When I was still a young man, in my rural village, there was a family of a relatively well-to-do family, and it was a polygamous family. Then the children of one of the mothers kept dying at the time when they would be just ready to begin working. Either they have completed their school, okay, and of course nobody knew why these children were dying. One of them survived, but actually has not led a normal life up to now. And everybody thought it was one of the other wives who was bewitching these children. Why is it that it is only the other mother who is losing children? Why not the others? But of course, later on, it was discovered that it was sickle cell disease. But still, that feeling remained among the people. Sickle cell disease, therefore, negatively affects all aspects of life and needs to be addressed urgently. We know that there are evidence-based strategies that have been used to reduce the effects of sickle cell disease. These strategies include newborn screening, infection prevention, use of hydroxyurea and other disease-modifying agents, and comprehensive clinical care programs. The problem remains the low uptake of these strategies in Africa, where most people with sickle cell disease live. And I have just given you an example. Now, of course, there are also families that now are more enlightened, but the pain is not less, because I have a niece who is very prominent in the medical field, who also brought up her son, and the son was just ready to go to university. And they were trying to manage the disease, and I think the son was growing up very well. But one day we were just informed he collapsed, and it was devastating to all of us. So even with enlightenment, the problem is still big. The reasons for this low uptake are many and include a limited skilled workforce, limited or no funding for sickle cell disease programs, social cultural myths, as I have just told you, lack of awareness among the masses and limited collaboration among various stakeholders. But I also know, of course, people who have lived with sickle cell. One of my other nieces has been living with the disease all her life, but she's quite healthy and is the one that actually supports her larger clan because she's working somewhere in the United Kingdom. Okay, so she sends money and is supporting the whole clan. There is therefore an urgent need to replicate the successful implementation of these and other sickle cell disease interventions to address the high burden of disease due to ACD in Uganda and the other countries in Africa. To succeed, this effort requires engagement and collaboration of all stakeholders, including academic institutions, hospitals and healthcare workers, government ministries, religious, community and cultural leaders, farmer, patients, parents, families, and patient groups, among others. And I think we cannot emphasize too much the need for families to give support to members of the family with this disease. Mackay University, as a leading academic institution in Africa, must take the lead in addressing this problem. The Mackay University College of Health Sciences and the School of Medicine have trained doctors and other health care workers and led several groundbreaking researches in diseases of public health, priorities such as malaria and HIV. I am happy, and I think many people need to recognize that sometimes we take it for granted. Our College of Health Sciences, particularly the School of Medicine, has played a very big role in keeping Uganda healthy, but many people don't know about that. When HIV came, it was the innovations and the leadership of the school that actually helped the country to control that disease. And they are also part of international consortia that are trying to find a lasting solution for malaria. And of course, we all remember the recent COVID-19 pandemic when the whole world was devastated. But here in Uganda, again, our College of Health Sciences took the lead in restoring confidence and hope among us. I'm happy to see that the College of Health Sciences, Mackay University, has taken the initiative to lead the efforts to combat sickle cell disease. And I must say, this is expected anyway. Because as I have said, the disease is most prevalent in Africa. So if it is most prevalent in Africa, you can be sure nobody cares. Nobody cares. Therefore, it is upon us Africans to solve this problem. And I'm happy that our College of Health Sciences has taken the lead in this. These efforts include training health workers and other experts in the care of persons with sickle cell disease. The college has led some groundbreaking research in sickle cell disease, including the no harm trial that showed that hydroxyurea, is that the correct pronoun? Okay, is safe to use in children with sickle cell disease in Africa. This led to the registration of hydroxyurea for use by children and adults with sickle cell disease by the National Drug Authority. Several other studies are ongoing, and we eagerly await their results. I applaud the efforts by the Sickle Cell Pan-African Consortium, a network of researchers and clinicians in 6 African countries, including Uganda, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Ghana, and Mali, with a clinical coordinating center in Tanzania and data coordinating center in South Africa. The goal of this consortium is to improve the health outcomes of individuals, families, and communities with sickle cell disease through the implementation of evidence-based interventions. I must emphasize that we have, as a university, the responsibility to remove the myth of people believing in witchcraft. Witchcraft is a disease itself, okay? Because it is just a psychological way of deceiving people. Okay. The Sparco Uganda project based at Makerere University is aimed at strengthening capacity for clinical care, research, and training in sickle cell disease. Further, the enhancing research capacity for sickle cell disease and the related NCDs across the lifespan in Uganda is a complementary training project to Sparco Uganda, aimed at improving outcomes of persons with sickle cell disease through research training and innovative research projects. As Makerere University, we are mandated to address health priorities through capacity building, research, innovation, and community engagements. The leadership of Makerere University, together with the College of Health Sciences, calls upon the stakeholders present to play their part. And these include the cultural leaders, the church leaders, the Ministry of Health, clinicians, patients and patient groups, academicians, media, politicians, and others. And probably I must emphasize the role of the media. The media must work with us at academic institutions, first of all, to raise awareness among the people that all diseases are most probably caused by some biological defect, and that it is not witchcraft. And people must rush to a doctor if they have this problem. Of course, including our local herbalists, if they have that expertise. But I know herbalists are not witch doctors. So just, they are doctors who have not got a degree yet. At Makerere University, we continue to train human resources, conduct research and innovation, as well as stakeholder engagement for sickle cell disease. We shall work collaboratively as internal stakeholders and with you, the external stakeholders, to achieve this. I pledge to spearhead this move at Makerere University, which will contribute to our efforts to become a research-led university. I feel greatly honored to have been associated with this engagement and look forward to working with you to make sure that we make a difference. Now, principal and the principal investigator. It would sound to me that sickle cell disease is one of the neglected diseases in Africa. And I wonder why we are creating a lot of centers of excellence in diseases that where everybody is working, and we are not creating a center of excellence in neglected diseases in Africa. I think we need to do that. And I hope that the college will take the initiative, and you can count on my support. I look forward to listening to the keynote address. Unfortunately, I'm sure it has been given already. Okay. But I know that I will get the recordings. And unfortunately, I will not be able to participate in the panel discussions as well, because as the principal said, today is an unusually busy day for me because I must rush to another function. It is now my pleasure to officially open the Makerere University Sickle Cell Disease Stakeholders Meeting open. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor. At this juncture, we will be going into our panel discussion. And I would also like to thank you for allowing me to moderate the first part of this session. And now invite Professor Richard Idro to take us through to the next session. Vice Chancellor, you can leave at leisure.
Good morning once again. We continue to welcome you to this engagement today. Feel at Makerere University, the home where we build for the future. As was introduced in the morning, today is a day we would like to engage further. Over the last 2 years, a number of us working in different areas with particularly children, but also adults with sickle cell disease, have been asking ourselves, what can we do about this disease? Dr. Namazi presented ably that, and the VC has just emphasized, this is an African problem. We don't sort it, it's our problem. It's not some other person's problem, it is our problem. 80% is here. We are the third leading country with the highest burden of the disease. In Uganda, we are such a tiny country, but the third highest burden is here. Dr. Kitenge is from DR Congo. They have the second highest burden of the disease. We don't sort it, nobody will help us. I'm happy to see the Interreligious Council here. I know there was a question about the politicians. They are online. A few months ago, we started an engagement. What can we do to address this problem? And these two groups I've mentioned are some of the groups we started with. Although they may not be able to speak now, especially the politicians, they have moved ahead, led by Dr. Samuel Opio in the Health Committee. They are moving a motion in Parliament, and the motion has several components, but one of which is to make sickle cell disease a priority in this country. And we've been working with them to try to do that. Unfortunately, the position of that motion on the order paper has not been moving very quickly towards the top. It is still somewhere between number 12 and number 8 of items. Hopefully, very soon it will be on the floor of Parliament so that this discussion is engaged. It has many facets. The Interreligious Council has been discussing, and they are going to tell us aspects of some of the things which they have. We have had an engagement with them, and we are yet to meet the board. But today, for the wider group here, it's time for an engagement, and I would like to invite some few representatives to come and join us on the podium. And we start with them, and then the rest of us, as the community, we engage in this discussion. I'd like to start with the representative of Buganda Kingdom, Mr. Mwonge. I invite a representative of one of our parents with who has a child with sickle cell and disease, Evelyn. Would like Daniel from the Sickle Cell Rescue Foundation to come as one of the bodies which supports patients and communities with sickle cell. Daniel, well, welcome. For our community, one of the things which sometimes we lack is the involvement of fathers. But today we have an opportunity to have fathers engaged in this discussion. So we'd like to have a representative of the Fathers in Union from Namirembe Diocese to come and join us. You are, okay. This disease is felt by patients. They feel it in their body. They experience pain. And the patients will be represented today by Dr. Lisa. And the Interreligious Council to be represented by Reverend Osire. There are two other groups. You'll remain in the audience. We'll drop for you one question or another. But maybe one comment to start with, please, will be the representative from the Ministry of Health. We'll give for you a few minutes to say a few words. And then from Uganda Medical Association, the Secretary General will ask you to say a few words. So, and lastly, we'll have a representative from the press. And this will be Mr. Christopher Bendana, who will say a few things for us. So those three will be in the audience. I would like to start with Evelyn, a parent. How is it like having a child with sickle cell anemia? What are your experiences as a parent? What are we doing right in this country to support you? And what are we not doing right? And how will you like us to do some of these things? Maybe in some 2-3 minutes, if you can just give us that perspective of a parent with a child with sickle cell disease. You remember that every year in this country, we have 20,000 new births with children with sickle cell anemia. Today, we're going to have, if we divided 20,000 by 365 days, what is that number? 20,000 divided by 365. That is nearly 600, maybe 500 and something, nearly 600. So that will be the number of new children born today with sickle cell anemia. Evelyn.
It is a very tough question, Doctor, because where do you start from? From the moment, if you're a doctor and they tell you your child has sickle cell, you know what sickle cell means. But if you're a layman and you're told that your child has sickle cell, for heaven's sake, what does it mean? You've never been in the ocean and you're thrown into the ocean and you're told to swim, and you have not been shown the shoreline. That's what it is, doctor. How do you swim? Whom do you swim with? Who throws you the floater? So, and it depends on at what stage were you told. Because now I'm trying to remember how it was. You want to think the results were wrong. How do you tell your family? How do you tell your friends? I remember we had an advocate, Navidie, at a clinic. I really pray that she rests well. She was that rock at the sickle cell clinic that she would speak and you would want to listen, but you don't know where to start. The whole thing I can say is you are in an ocean. So that journey, like the previous presentation of Dr. Ruth, you are looking at this child, but it's no longer the child alone. It is also you as an individual, and things start coming in differently. I remember a time I was in church and this man looked at my son with the yellow eyes and he told me, have you tested for sickle cell? Those eyes, they look like a child has sickle cell. I think that man, I never sat next to him again for a long time. I really didn't even want to be his friend. So as a parent, it's tough. And as the children grow, it becomes tough. Whom do you walk with? You need a doctor to walk with you. I know today it's hard to find that you have one particular doctor. I don't know how many people have Dr. Munove's number. I don't know how many people have Dr. Poka's number, Dr. Ruth, but these people have walked with us. I don't even want to call them people. This doctor have walked with us. I remember for me specifically, Dr. Munove, Dr. Poka, but it is every day. Something new comes in, But sickle cell also shows different faces. As a parent, sickle cell shows different faces. You'll find somebody with a child who does not fall sick. Then you find another, you are on every treatment, you are seeing every specialist, but things are different. I remember a time when my son was sick and he woke up and said, Mommy, I think this is enough. When I heard him start to pray that Jesus, please take me home, don't heal me, but let me go. This is a child telling you, I don't want to be healed. I want to go. You yourself, who is talking to you as a parent, who is comforting you, who is telling you? I remember an incident, Dr. Mnobe, I went to acute. Jeremy was called HB 2.1. 2.1. We were admitted and discharged and told to come back in 2 weeks for review. The day before, he got a temperature. And I told myself, no, we have 3 more days for the review, but let me go. I think that day broke me because I would say he was not sick, but he just developed a temperature. And I said, let me go. We reached acute HB 2.8. Why did I come to the hospital that day? What made me come? I still ask myself again and again, what made me come? What if I had not come? But it was just a mild temperature. So your journey as a mother, when does it end? For me, it's still going on. Yes, time came that he was not faring well on every treatment. He was seen by the best doctors here. And then the doctor wakes up and says, Evelyn, we have no alternative, but Jeremy needs a bone marrow transplant. So we had to go all the way, and I'm happy that I'm his stem cell donor. We've walked the journey of bone marrow transplant. We are in recovery. January 30th, we make 3 years post BMT. But it is a journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Evelyn. Having a child with sickle cell anemia and being told that your child has sickle cell disease is like being dropped in an ocean that you swim. You don't know where it is, where the shore is, which direction you're supposed to swim. You have hardly learned how to swim. How much awareness is there in the public? We shall come to awareness. Chris, that will be your role. I'll come, hold it there. Let me first go to Lisha. Maybe she gives us a perspective. Maybe I should not just ask a question, but just talk. How is it having sickle cell anemia? What are your worries? Maybe I should not ask this, just talk.
Thank you very much. I could sit here all day and just keep on talking because it's endless. Case in point, to avoid talking a lot, let me try to talk about something I'm struggling with right now, give you perspective, because in the different scenes of life have different things we're struggling with. So right now, I'm a 25-year-old young doctor, intern doctor at Mulago Hospital. I also own a baking business called Lisa Confectionery, but I'm also a sickle cell warrior. So I tend to, I don't feel like I'm burdening my body with a lot because I'm passionate about all these things. And I just want to be normal. Yes, I want to be able to do the things I want to do without feeling like I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself. I need to slow down. I want to be free to do everything I want to do. So the late Dr. Sasule Stephen was a friend of mine. We were both doing internship at Mulago. And would always check on each other and be like, hey, how are you now? The day he texted me, I'm like, my friend, I'm in the hospital, I'm admitted, the pain was so bad, I had to be sedated with midazolam because I had like the worst headache of my life. Then he tells me, I am so sorry, I didn't know, I'm also sick, my legs are really hurting. Like, we'd always just try to check on each other and be like, you know what, just hang in there, relax, don't put pressure on yourself to go back to duty. It will be fine. And when you're okay, you'll go back to duty. So we'd always be checking on each other and giving each other hope, yes? And I talked to him on Saturday night. He was out with friends. And then on, was it Thursday evening, I'm seeing a message that he's dead. I can't begin to explain what went on in my mind. I actually considered leaving medicine alone. And I was like, what if I'm struggling with internship for nothing? And I'm giving myself there to die. Like, what if I just let it go? Because I was working in pediatrics, getting exposed to so many infections from the kids, like upper respiratory infections. And currently, I'm actually also just recovering from an upper respiratory infection, like a cough and a cold. And I can say that, yes, I'm being careful. When I got it, I took antibiotics and all that. Then I'm like, I think Kasule thought he was doing the same thing. Like, what did he do different? It's not guaranteed. Like, you can't convince me that he thought, I don't even know how to express it, but I just sit there at times and I feel like I might die tomorrow. So is it worth it for me to leave my confectionery business or leave medical school and just live a meaningless life, in my opinion. Someone may think meaningless, like me living those two things is not meaningless. But in my opinion, if I live those two things, then my life has no meaning. If I live them and either way I could die tomorrow, where are we now? So living as a sickle cell warrior exposes you to a lot of emotional distress that people do not know about. Just like Madam Evelyn was saying here about the gentleman who pointed out her son in that church. Like, some warriors really have like a characteristic look, should I say, that kind of exposes them to stigma in the different places that they are at, like, let's say, school, work, and even the smallest comment can throw you off. And people think that, you know, it's just a plain comment. But in your heart as a warrior, you do not feel like that. But you can't exactly, let's say, tell them to stop expressing themselves. Maybe they're just innocently saying that, Nga, you're so thin, like, why your eyes always yellow? I mean, I know my eyes are always yellow. You don't need to always point it out, but you can't tell those things to people. Why are you always falling sick? Yeah, what are you sick of? You have to constantly answer people's questions. And personally, being here today is a very big achievement for me, because up until like last year, I wasn't so comfortable with actually saying that I have sickle cell disease and it's public knowledge. Like, I would never even post it, let's say, on my status, but I joined the Rare Mark Foundation through a friend of mine who introduced me to the late Jocelyn Esisa, who is the late daughter to Dr. Madeo, who I also lost in a lot of pain this year. So it, like, I don't even know. The fact that she did a great thing for me and then she's gone, I just start losing hope every single day. And then I have to find ways of trying to gain back the hope. But it is not easy to even come to acceptance, because I know people who can't come out and say, I have sickle cell disease. They are there. And yet, to actually survive with this disease, you need a community, like you need a village. Just like Dr. Namazi said, it's a multi-systemic disease, and it's a like you need a lot of people from different sects of life to intervene to help you to actually be healthy. That means that the people around you, your workmates, your friends, your parents, your relatives, your bosses, all those people need to know your greatest weakness. And no one actually knows the gravity of having to put your greatest weakness out there and not see it as something that will totally bring you down. It is a very difficult thing to deal with. So in the perspective of a warrior, I just need everyone to know that we deal with a lot, but to be able to come through it and hold ourselves strong, we need you. Like, we need everyone around us to be a team player so we can have a comfortable life. But also, to my fellow warriors out there, it also starts from you. If you accept it and are able to communicate effectively to the people around you, because it's easy to blame them for saying you have yellow eyes, you're not coming to work so many days. It's easy to blame them for saying that when you have not actually told them that, you know what, I have sickle cell disease and this and this and this is the support that I need from you. But you can't do that if you haven't come to acceptance. So I urge each and every one of them to accept this, and after that, be able to communicate so they can get help.
Thank you. So beyond the health service, there's a huge emotional problem to deal with, which should be integrated within the comprehensive care program. That there's a huge community awareness program that people are able to understand. We say many of our sickle cell patients are growing and many of them are joining the workplace. How do we handle the workplace environment that they are able to, that a person with sickle cell disease is able to manage the workplace environment? Buganda Kingdom. The kingdom has had quite a number of initiatives dealing with sickle cell anemia. And one of the biggest was through the Kabaka Run. And please pass our thanks to His Royal Highness for really that beautiful work, where we had thousands and thousands of people tested. How can we take it from there? How can we enhance this intervention from the kingdom? How can we make the kingdom take, what can the kingdom do? Or what is the kingdom interested in doing or is able to do? What can it do to one, in this awareness? That is one. We have talked about newborn screening. A lot of the screening was done in the older people, but we say, although we have made progress, those days up to 80% died before they were age 5. Now it is about 45%, which is still huge. You can imagine 1 in 2 will not make it to 5 years. What can the kingdom do? If the Kabaka spoke today, people will listen. Mr. Mwonge.
Thank you so much. Experts and colleagues, morning. We are here discussing sickle cell disease. Before I tackle the question that has been posed to me, I want to begin by reflecting on the statements that an expert made here. We are born with sickle cell disease and definitely live with it, and we die with it or from its complications. This statement really made me kind of sad, but it's the truth. And on that note, Doctor, yes, the kingdom has done much, or it has participated in ensuring that we handle or we do something to avert the situation that our people go through, not only the patients, but also the family. And giving money, not enough. What else can be done? I am the principal health officer, and in the kingdom, I'm the focal person when it comes to the health issues. And as a kingdom, I joined in August, and I've been going through what my colleague whom I replaced was doing. And when I went through all those documents, yes, sickle cell disease and the program was part of, but then it hung somewhere. I tried to contact the Sickle Cell Association, whose office is at DMK, and we talked, but then we didn't draw a program on what we ought to do. But coming here and listening to what has just been said, and from the parent, from my sister here, I feel we need to do quite much. The kingdom has structures. And when the king actually says, everyone will respond or will do exactly what he has said. It's therefore upon the experts and the association and the other people working in the field of sickle cell disease, come up with that message, that program. Our office, through the Ministry of Social Services, is open, more approachable, and we can use the structures to ensure that this message reaches where it's needed, the action realized. For example, we can avert this disease through informing the younger couples. First of all, young couples who are getting married. And we have a very big structure therein. Because before we give, we prepare these people to present them to the church will require a parent's consent that these people have. They have given away their child. But if these parents can also be involved in ensuring that these young people who are getting married have been screened for sickle cell disease. Because very many first marry, customary, then nebatukuza, isn't it? So if we are going to leave this this business of screening to the clergy, a bigger cohort, I don't want to call it cohabiting, because the parents have consented to the marriage of these people, so they are not cohabiting, isn't it? So let us use our cultural system to also ensure that we prevent sickle cell disease at or before marriage, because we are born with it. These people are going to give birth to a sickler if they were SS or SA and so on, because we saw the graph which said 1 in 4. Yes, Uganda is ranked 3rd. But what does it take for Uganda to become number 1? If we sit back and we do nothing, we shall be number 1. But we can do something to get off the list.
Just another small question. You are representing our cultural institutions. We have 55 languages in this country. Do you have a platform where as cultural institutions, where you meet, where you talk to each other, maybe is there a similar person in the Chabazinga got married just the other day? Does he have a principal and another officer, somebody in his kingdom? What about the road from Acholi? We have the biggest, actually the highest prevalence is in that area, along Choga, on the upper banks of Choga. That is where we have some of the highest numbers of people, or the prevalence, the gene prevalence. So these different cultural institutions, do you have a platform where you can meet? And if not, is it possible that this is an opportunity where you can form something like this, and then you start as communities to start addressing some of these challenges?
Thank you so much. To be sincere, most of these cultural institutions don't want to say they are copying, but they're adapting some of the systems that we use, and we have that platform, and we can use it quite very well. Because other players in the health industry have used the cultural institutions to reach, put out their message. And we can do that very well when it comes to sickle cell disease.
So we have a platform where we can focus on prevention. The thing is multifaceted. We need to prevent, we need to care, we need to protect, we need to ensure livelihood. Chris Bendana, in the public, how much is awareness about sickle cell disease? Is the public informed about it? Does the public understand this disease? If not, what will it take to improve this? What role can the media play in improving this knowledge or this perspective?
Okay, Doctor, thank you, Dr. Idro. From my interaction with the doctors yesterday, I think, and my over 10 years experience working with the New Vision, I think very little is known about sickle cell. That's what I think. Because I have some background in science writing, but my interaction with the doctors yesterday informed me that my knowledge about sickle cell was also limited. So if somebody like me who has been in media for 10 years, I do report on science, had very little knowledge, I can presume that generally among people who are less educated, people who are less exposed to the newspapers and radios, information about sickle cell is limited. On what can be done, I think we are currently doing the right thing, engaging stakeholders from the cultural leaders, engaging the Minister of Health, engaging churches, because it provides a platform for media to highlight the stories of resilience from testimonies of Evelyn handling the son's challenges. A story of resilience will give hope to other sickle cell patients. The testimony the testimony from the intern doctor is also a success story of resilience that can give sense and belonging to other sick patients, that this is a disease that you can live with and be a productive person. But I also think that the media, including both television and the newspapers, can provide a platform for discussion. Patients, like the young doctor, can send letters to the editor. Doctors can, there are sections for opinion pieces. Doctors can write pieces on how people can prevent the gene from moving, like the advice of testing before marriage. The media can also provide a discussion for new technologies, which new technologies can be used to prevent the increase in people getting the disease. So I think that's what can be done.
Any specific support to, say, Uganda Journalists Association?
I think for the journalist to produce a complete story that has facts and give meaning, I think the journalists themselves need to be given some short training so that they can have the basic knowledge about the disease. Like the doctor was saying, AS and AS, how it can be transferred, and prevention strategies, so that once they have a deep understanding of the subject, they report from a point of informed decision. So in terms of what you're saying, Uganda Journalists Association, I think if you can look at specific journalists, say one from each media organization, and give them some basic training on the basic of the disease, understanding of the disease, it would be better in that the journalists can report from a point of informed decision.
Thank you very much. We had some perspectives. Raising a child with sickle cell anemia is no mean feat. It's not cheap. It's an extremely expensive disease. When you think about from age, I don't know, 6 months, the child gets a crisis, is admitted in hospital, gets a chest infection, gets admitted in hospital, the blood levels run low, the mother is back with the child in hospital. Then as earth workers, we say, maybe you put this child on hydroxyurea, it is not there in the health center. The test is 20,000, is it? Yes. And it has been objected very strongly. Yes, people are awake. It's 52,000. Yes. It is not a cheap disease. Fathers Union. Maybe I should not ask the question, just speak.
Uh, Good morning, members. Oh, good afternoon. Oh, sorry. Is it okay? Thank you, sir, very much. I'm happy that you haven't raised the question to the fathers, because this is somehow new to me, and I have come mostly to learn. And I sympathize with the madam here and my daughter. When she mentioned, I was almost also wanted to cry when she mentioned something which everybody doesn't mention. I think you can understand that she wanted to die. But all of us, we shall die. We can even die before you. I want to encourage you. But in the church, I'm happy, and I want to thank Professor Chuguri and Madam Namazi. I've seen them here, but we have been communicating on phone. She came to the Namirembe Cathedral, and she was looking for people responsible. Definitely, couples who comes to the church, especially in Namirembe, we are very much concerned about the HIV, but we haven't been asking for sickle cells. And at times, these people, they come when they know each other, and they come and they say, okay, we have tested already the HIV, but we don't talk of the sickle cells. My humble request, I think people who are concerned, who came to Namirembe, I think we shall ask them again to come, most probably to give them a platform in all our services, and they talk about it. I'll make sure that I give you a platform. And also my request, my humble request, is I think to take this one to the schools, mostly secondary schools, for senior two, those girls they know and the boys, so that you teach them and they know where they are going. But if you teach people who are already mature, I think it is too late. It is too late, because these younger ones, they know more even than ourselves. So I would request in the Makerere to sponsor these professors to go deep to the secondary schools. And also we have many now churches. So really, as you are saying, this is the beginning. I think you have to go to all the churches and teach these people when they are still what? When they are still young. Otherwise, if they are mature, I think it is very difficult to stop someone when she or he loves someone, and you stop him or her. He may say, if we are to die, let us die. Everybody, of course, will die. So thank you so very much for giving me this platform. I don't know whether there's any question, but I think thank you for not raising a question to me.
They say you do not embarrass elders with very hard questions. They'll give the perspective and you find the space. So I'll immediately follow from what our Fathers Union did say, representing us a community. For the public outside there and to all the fathers, sickle cell is very expensive. Let's support our children, let's work, because they can grow this disease. But for the interreligious council, I did mention they were our first stop when we started thinking about some of these aspects. Professor Chiguli was occupied that day, but we were led by Professor Ndezi. We went to the secretariat and we met, including Dr. Chivumbi here. The Interreligious Council, they will talk about it, but we thought these people can play one of the biggest roles in this. The cultural institutions and the interreligious councils, the media, and if we put those together, we could cover a lot. What can the Interreligious Council do? I know you have been thinking, you made some proposals, but today we have come to a bigger platform. And when can these things begin? It is our problem. It is not a problem of somebody outside there. We may not have resources, but we need to do something. What is it that you can do? Reverend Osire, you can say some words, and then Dr. Chivumbi can add on if there is something missing.
Thank you very much, Dr. Idro. And I'm happy to meet you today. And the conveners of this meeting. Sickle cell disease is a tsunami of sorts, surrounded by many myths that need really to be demystified and addressed as soon as they pop up, with a lot of stigma. And we find this becomes one of the crux of the matter. One, I think Ministry of Health is committed to collecting up-to-date data. Up to today, even what we have, I am not sure how up-to-date it is, because I am seeing, when I checked, it seems we are still getting to some information that was picked from here and there some time back. And yet in reality, there is a lot. So number one maybe is really to get up-to-date data. And I am thinking Interreligious Council can provide an avenue, because, for example, I subscribe to Church of Uganda. That is where I am a priest in the Diocese of Kampala. Now, the beauty with the Church of Uganda is that up to the grassroots, the structures go up to almost every village has a Church of Uganda congregation. And I am sure that if we stepped it up and scaled it up with the church, I am sure that we can get to the grassroots and begin to get information and data right from the grassroots and in any corner of this country, Uganda. And then we can look at our brothers and sisters from the Roman Catholic Church, from the Muslim faith, from the Born Again Federation. Number two, this is not a blame game, but you have asked me what needs to be done. I think there is a cross-section of media that has made it a little bit complicated. I am a trained journalist myself, and I still practice. I actually write every now and then. But I think we still have a problem of sanitizing the media, because that is the avenue through which we share, through which we gather information. Now, the problem when a journalist decides to become sentimental, and when we don't sanitize the media, it becomes a problem and it derails everything and makes it complicated, and it becomes a very bad setback. So together with the Interreligious Council, I want also to request that as we make these strides, can we sanitize the media? Because there is no way we can do without the media. They are the ones that become a vehicle to carry information. They are also become, actually they do surveillance, if I may use that word. The other part of it that I want to talk about is we need to have an age-graded approach, because I am seeing when you have a young boy of say 5 years, and that young boy or young girl who is a sickler goes to school or goes to church, interacts with others of the same age group. And sometimes because of their condition, they tend to isolate themselves because either they are not feeling well or they are fearing to become so active and then maybe get a problem or a complication. So from the interreligious perspective, we want an age-graded approach so that Fathers Union, we want the fathers to talk to fellow parents, and we accept to face this tsunami and address it. So that if it is me, I am also a father. If it is me, or if it is in my family, I need to accept that we have a problem. And the moment we admit and accept that we have a problem, it is the first step in the right direction to get a way out of it, of solving and sorting out that problem. If it is Mothers Union, let the mothers talk at that level. Now, personally, what I am trying to do is to make sure, because in some of our churches, we have what we call confirmation program. Now, most of the people we catch are those who have done PLOE. As they transit, wait for their results to go to senior one. We have time with them. So what we are trying to do currently is to integrate some of this information to those youngsters, not just because they can catch, not that they will catch sickle cells, but so that they become support systems for their peers in case at school there is that problem, or in case there is that problem at the community level. So that is the other thing that we are trying to do, and we are praying that we will be able to scale it up. I have actually shared a little bit with Dr. Ruth, and he told her that at a personal level, it might be a drop in the ocean, but I am more than willing in the course of this week to take it up with the office of the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda and with the office of the Assistant Bishop of the Diocese of Kampala. The other bit that we try to do, there is a couple I am, just as an example, there is a couple I am wedding on Saturday. So I insist that if I am to wed you, or if I am to be your best man, I take you through premarital counseling for not less than 3 months, so that we go through all these areas. And one of the things that I have emphasized to people I have given premarital counseling is really to do a background health check. Ask your grandparents, not only just about sickle cell disease, but it could be mental health, a mental problem. It could be things like asthma. It could be personal, I have a condition. And when I was preparing to get married, one of the first things I had to do was to disclose to this daughter of somebody and say, by the way, darling, Francis is here, but I have this condition. And she said, don't worry, even my mother has it. So from then we were sorted. Unfortunately, we worked with some of the medics, and then our firstborn got the problem. But again, as God would have it, we accepted to pursue that with a certain pediatrician. And you can't believe that up to today, the young man has forgotten the problem. If you find him playing basketball, you can't think that he ever had it. So the other thing that I am trying to say by sharing this story is, we have medics. As interreligious council, we are saying the Holy Bible says the sick need a doctor, not fire. not binding demons. But the sick need what? A doctor. Let's take the sick to the doctors to be assessed and to be managed and to be treated. And so from the Interreligious Council perspective, we are saying we want now to scale up working together more than ever before. But we want also to request the medics and the entire country that please, let's stop making life business. Let's stop politicizing. Let's stop politicizing issues of health. Let's allow the technocrats, let's allow the doctors, and please, we are also appealing from Interreligious Council, medics, can you, medical doctors specifically, can you adhere to your hypocritical oath? Let me draw this to a conclusion by applauding the Vice Chancellor and what he said. We are talking about 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. One of those cases, let me share it in abridged version. That was like a slap in my face. Is when a young lady was sharing about 12 years ago, she got married and she didn't know she was a carrier of sickle cell disease. And so when this young man took her, their firstborn, of course, started having problems. And word went around that the family of the young man were witches. And that is how the child got that problem. And unfortunately, because of thinking that they were witches, the child passed on. And so immediately after burial, the father of the girl went to these people's home, collected his daughter, and he told them to go back to go and get their dowry. Now, that young man for more than 10 years is devastated and has failed to pick up. That young lady has remained, and it is only last week that is when that young lady realized that it was actually sickle cell, because we happened to have a meeting with another family that has 2 girls. They are preparing to take to India in January for bone marrow transplant. So as we were sharing, that is when the mother of these girls was recounting, especially how the young one used it to struggle, then the other one said, that is exactly what used to happen to my baby. So my baby actually died because of sickle cells. And so from, again, Interreligious Council perspective, we are committed to share information as much as we possibly can. And we are committed to partnership with the Makerere University. And I am sure that our representative, Dr. Rebecca, is here, who is already in touch with you. And I am only praying that we are able to scale it up. We are committed also to learning and knowing the available referral opportunities, so that when we are faced with some of these, we are able to know where they can appropriately be helped, where they can appropriately be, where some of these issues can appropriately be addressed. I can talk and talk. Let me first pause there. Thank you very much.
A number of things emerging. How much time do we have? Yeah. Good. A number of things emerging, and quickly. One, the Interreligious Council can do a lot. We need the media, which is sanitized, and it is upon us to sort that one out. But as health workers, that we also most of the health workers, as the doctors is here, he'll speak. But having said that, in some of the earlier discussions, one of the things which emerged was that it was urgent, that maybe we saw. Do we have a name for sickle cell, a name each of our 55 tanks in this country. I remember Rebecca and her team were immediately one up. I don't know where it's reached. The Interreligious Council was thinking about a week, a sickle cell week, where that week, all preaching in mosques, churches, everywhere with the Hindi will be on sickle cell anemia. And at the end of the day, potentially there will be massive testing, a screening. And of course, it was scary. The Ministry of Health is here. The person in charge of testing is here. I don't they have prepared for this. And then the patients, those who may test positive, may need health services in a different places. I would like Rebecca to say a word or two and then quickly go to the Ministry of Health. They were outstanding earlier in the day, but then to give a perspective. What is the capacity to test? Where have they reached? And what can be done before we finally come towards our team here in terms of the support, the different support groups. Dr. Chivumbi.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Rebecca Chibumbi from IRCU. Interreligious Council coordinates all religions, and at the moment there are 7 of them that subscribe to IRCU. That is the Church of Uganda, the Catholic, Orthodox, SDA, the Born Again, the Muslims, and all those ones. We are able to coordinate and agree on the actions that we need to do in order to help the population. Now, that's families generally begin in churches and mosques. So meaning that we are key stakeholders in the sickle cell fight. So most of the couples generally, they come to churches and mosques for wedding, and that's where we have to start from as Interreligious Council, whereby we encourage, not only encourage, but we should be able to support people to see that they test, so that they take an informed choice of whether to marry or not to marry. So our role is to come up with a policy and support it and sensitize all religious leaders to see that they implement it in their churches. So that is work in progress. We are not yet there, but that's what we hope to do. Then the other thing is that we also advocate for generally health for all. In our hospitals, our wish is to have free medications for all our patients. So that is also our role at Interreligious Council when given the capacity and the mandate. We advocate for free medications. And so in all churches, we encourage them to do premarital counseling and also testing. We encourage couples to come with their tests, but in order to really be effective, we need a policy on that. So it's different churches and mosques that do that. So we would want to be supported in that area to see that we implement that. Then also there's a certain reverend, we had an argument with them or a discussion, and they were like, now when couples come, okay, if you find out that they've given birth to children with sickle cell, what do we do? Like the firstborn. And he was like, they advise them to separate. So that is also meaning that we need a lot of sensation and education for our religious leaders, because they are the first people or their point of contact in our communities. They are those that counsel and support our congregations in their communities. So we have so many questions, and also we have a lot of work to do in terms of health, especially in sickle cell. Now, when it comes to sickle cell week, like right now we are on World AIDS Day, and we came out with a statement which is going to be read throughout the churches and mosques about HIV/AIDS on the World AIDS Day. And we've had programs on radios and TV. So we can also do the same for sickle cell, come up with a statement. Then we have a week-long sensitization and also testing for the populations. At the moment, what I can say is that we are willing to do that, and we are ready to collaborate with everyone who can come on board and support us. Some of those things need funding. Like if you religious leaders to come for a meeting, like they will ask you for transport. If you ask maybe trainers to come and train them and sensitize them, they'll ask you for transport and maybe a lunch allowance. So we are constrained in that area. Otherwise, we are ready to work with groups to see that we fight sickle cell. Thank you very much.
Ministry of Health. What is our testing capacity? But you also had some two questions which had been put to you before and then. What is the ministry doing? Health services, health promotion is the mandate of the ministry. And on behalf of the ministry, what do you tell the population of the country? What are you telling us?
Thank you so much. I'm privileged to be here for inviting the ministry to this very before the ministry. I want to give a preamble where we have come from. In 2015 to 2016, we carried out a Uganda sickle cell survey program, the first of its kind in Africa, and we were able to geospatially map sickle cell. We were able to find the hotspots of sickle cell in this country. And from that survey, we found that the prevalence of sickle cell by then was 0.7%. But the challenge was some districts had a trait as high as 25%. So you'd find that out of 10 people, you roughly had 2 who had a gene of sickle cell. So from that survey and support from the donors, we're able to train 150 facilities spread around the country to do newborn screening of sickle cell. But out of those 100, we're able to also train 100 facilities to manage sicklers that have been identified from the testing. And out of those, still we had to identify the hotspots, mostly the eastern region to the northeast. And we got 10 centers of excellence out of the 100, including Molago, Mbale, Jinja, Gulu, and the rest. And those facilities have been supported with hydroxyurea and monitoring of these patients on hydroxyurea. We have a central lab at Central Public Health Laboratory that is handling sickle cell testing, and it has a capacity of testing 10,000 babies every month. Our focus was on newborn screening at first. Because of resource constraints, we want to ensure that every child born in Uganda is tested for sickle cell and enrolled in care as early as possible to avert the effects of the disease. But at the same time, we are advocating for more funds and trying to work with partners to ensure that we provide this service of sickle cell testing to everyone in the country free of charge. And that is where we are right now. We have engaged, I would like to to inform the principal, School of Medicine. We have engaged many of your doctors, and some of them are here, Dr. Munube and Dr. Ruth, in training these facilities and equipping them with the knowledge required to handle these patients. But I will also urge the principal to, because one of the challenge we've been noticing when we are training these health workers is they're having a problem with genetic counseling. Most of these people come in for counseling, mostly the ones that are planning to get married. They come in for sickle cell testing at a time when they have already developed a bond. Some of them actually intend to marry after they have even given birth. So at that time, if they are not compatible genetically, it is really hard to counsel them. So we encourage that Makerere being with all this population of people who are going to go out of here and go and get married, it is a time, a very good time for Makerere to sensitize each and everyone in Makerere. But I will also urge the principal to take it as a drive to test each and every student of Makerere for sickle cell, because from here they are going to get partners, and if they are already aware of their sickle cell status, it is easier to counsel them at that stage. I would also like to thank Sparco and Enrich. As the ministry, we cannot do everything. We steer, but the organizations like Sparco and Enrich help us reach where we cannot. And we thank you for organizing this event. I will also, since there is an official from Buganda Kingdom, I would like to extend from the ministry, we would like to extend our thanks to His Royal Highness. A few years ago, on the theme of the Kabaka's birthday run was sickle cell. And from the resources gathered from the theme, the Buganda Kingdom procured some screening tests. So these screening tests reduce the burden of our central laboratory, because they are able to screen out the negatives and they send only the positives for what? For confirmation. Currently, we are diagnosing close to 500 babies every month. And those are not all the babies that are born in the country, but those we receive at CPHL, we are diagnosing almost 500 every month, including this month, next month, and next. So we are adding to the burden 500, and that is just what we have managed to identify. There are those that are not bringing samples to test them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're not doing very well with time. I want to hold on Daniel to be making the last comments. So I want to take it straight to you in the gallery. Yes. You as the public, what are some of the areas where we are behind? What are some of the things which we can do? Maybe some 3 or 4 comments. Richard, which? Yes, the gentleman in light, is it light blue?
Thank you so much. I'm Jonah Treasures, a medical scientist.
Please, no more than 1 minute.
Sorry?
No more than 1 minute.
All right. With the due respect and honor, I send my greetings to all the members in the house. Allow me to share this with you. It's a bucket of hope to the sickle cell patients and peace us all. Whatever the sickle cell patients have told us, it could not describe the crisis they have in their body or whatever they are going through in their life. It is much more than their words can describe. In our research, allow me to share our findings as far as sickle cell disease is concerned. Among the sickle cell patients we have encountered as a research scientist, we have discovered heavy metal poisons, and that includes arsenic, thallium, and lead as the major cause of crisis. And on this basis, I would wish to encourage all the players and my fellow scientists, doctors, and all those who are engaged in this effort, that as we take efforts to design a solution for sickle cell, let us look and focus on the root cause of sickle cell. And then let all the efforts, the campaigns, and the awareness be focused on the solution to sickle cell. In our efforts, research study, we identified those heavy metal poisons. And this is what arsenic does. In the stem cells in the bones, it disorganizes the synthesis of hemoglobin and red cells, so causing malformation of cells. And now when these cells are released in the blood, they encounter thallium.
Excuse me, we said 1 minute.
Yes, I'm summarizing. And this is very crucial because this is the root cause.
No, no.
Okay, let me wind up.
Yes, you can wind up.
So, arsenic furthermore disorganizes the synthesis, the metabolism of fats in the liver. And once this is compromised, so there's accumulation of fat in the blood of sicklers.
Excuse me.
Yes,
let's respect ourselves.
Yes.
Give you 1 minute. Let's have the next
Okay.
comment.
Let me submit
please,
our solutions, sir.
Please.
The
You give
solutions
the
we have
next
designed.
person. The public will not speak. We have 15 minutes left.
Just give me 20 seconds. I summarize the solution, please,
No.
sir.
Respect the chair. You hand it over. Thank you.
All right.
Praise the name of the Lord.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
My name is Reverend HEPI-SHSSU, Assistant Chaplain, St. Luke's Mlago Hospital. Doctors treat, Jesus heals. That is the reality. In reference to the VC's communication, there is a misconception in our communities that believe this could be witchcraft. And it is not true. It is not witchcraft. Sickle cell is not witchcraft. And we are here to be empowered to dispel such misconceptions and a myth. Someone came to my office and said, I feel like I have sickle cell. I feel. But I said, go for the test. And when you go for the test, come back with the results. Then I will begin from there. Because I did not want to assume. So I thank the College of Health Science, Makerere, for this kind of information where we are empowered. And now that we have the knowledge, we are ready to speak out and to encourage people to give hope that Jesus heals, but doctors treat.
Well, I don't know that I should stand here. I wanted to stand in the front.
1 minute.
I know.
Your minute is going.
I haven't started. First off, I know you wants to be the only one talking. Well, first of all, when I was being introduced, or when I was introducing myself, Professor Idru asked me to give more about myself. I told him, wait, when I'm given opportunity, I will do that. Actually, I'm Associate Professor Kui from the Department of Pathology, and I have a PhD in sickle cell disease. My research was in sickle cell disease. In fact, why did I decide to do a PhD in sickle cell disease? One, my daughter, the last born I have, is a sickler. She's having sickle cell anemia, hemoglobin SS. And I myself am a carrier. So I was motivated by those two elements to do a PhD in sickle cell disease. And my last one, a sickler, she got a first class degree from Makerere University. So sicklers are not dull people. They can also be very clever. And even right now, she's actually working. My daughter, let me just give you a hint. Never think negatively about your life. Live a positive life. Avoid the three things: stress, very cold temperatures, very high temperatures, and stigmatizers. There you will live a normal life. For me, you see me here. I'm a researcher, I'm a teacher, I'm a mentor, and I'm an academician.
And a parent.
And a parent. My research, you'll know about it later. It is a higher level. I'm doing an innovation that will shock all of you. You know, some of us are humble people, but you do wonders. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Our leader of the Doctors Uganda Medical Association, today we are listening, so you are not going to speak. Who should I give it to? Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Lushata Felix, a graduate from MOOBS 2021. I have sickle cells. Apparently, I wasn't able to come. I wasn't going to come because I have a problem with my leg. Problem is with employment. As soon as you say I have sickle cells, somebody puts the head down. What have I got myself into? I worked for somebody at the beginning of the year, 2 months without pay. I had a crisis. You know what they paid me? 10,000, get treatment and get something for the drinks. As soon as I got that money, I left. My mother is still alive. Thanks be to God. I told her, I'll never work for another person like that again. Soon I'm dropping out of the employment opportunities because every time you just say about sickle cells, somebody says no. Luckily, I have brothers. They're in plumbing. At least there, I can get a 50K and I survive. Because if it is formal employment, those people are not ready to employ us. Many of us here have graduated. Two of them, how many of them are working?
A major point of advocacy, Sickle Cell Foundation, you'll make a comment. Let's have just 2 more comments, and from the lady. Now the 2 ladies. Let me get the 2 ladies. And then I think I'll stop there so that we have one final comment here before the organizers and the dean closes for us.
Thank you so much, everyone.
30 seconds, if possible.
Yes, sir. I believe me as a person, we have a lot of work to do when it comes to sensitization, especially to the grassroots level. Reverend has mentioned a statement whereby the church has a system whereby it is able to go down to even a lower person. And I think we also need to engage in the community workers. These are the people that are ever with these people. They're ever the people operating into the system, apart from the health officers and then the people that are up on board. So I believe that we also need to do what we call capacity building with the community workers from the grassroots level. Thank you so much.
You're taking the two ladies and we are closing. You'll, yes.
Thank you so much, everyone. There's a point that was not talked about. That is blood donation. Yes, we need to encourage people to donate blood, because you have seen actually patients dying in our hands when we don't have blood products. So we need to donate blood, encourage the community to donate blood, so that when the patient needs blood transfusion, blood is available. Thank you.
Blood donation. Okay, the gentleman there. And yes, he was specifically invited. My apologies.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm Rutaya Fred from Ruel, from civil society organizations. Members, HIV, I'm going to borrow you from HIV. HIV has been on top because of many organizations that come out to speak about HIV. Even sickle cell disease, we have organizations that are here. If they can just use hands to show off. Organizations, raise up your hands. There are many. Members here use those organizations on ground. For us, we are coming from Ruel. We are 2 organizations from Ruel. All districts have got organizations. You are not going to do anything unless you use organizations on ground. You are not going to penetrate the community unless you use the organizations on ground. We are there, we have knowledge, you know what to do, but we need support from you people here. You are not going to make research unless you use this organization in the community. You go to the church, this church come on Sunday and Saturday and Friday, but organizations are there from Monday up to Friday, even weekends. Use them. You give them money, call the Ministry of Finance here. You are here, but you don't see even any result for the Ministry of Finance. Can we do anything without money here? There is finance, the Ministry of Finance. They need to come and work with us here. These NGOs, they have knowledge. The NGOs contain parents with the sick class. They have experience. As we are going to train counselors, trainers, make sure that you choose from organizations to get best results. Thank you.
And on this note, I would like, please join me to thank all the sickle cell support organizations which support our patients all country round. And we appreciate you and the Holy Foundation. I remember we took you to Germany, you tested people during one of our camps, all the way from Luero. The groups in Luero are doing fantastic work. We appreciate you. And Daniel. Okay. Oh, I am being guided for one. Daniel, before you speak, one more person will left out.
Thank you, colleagues. I know time is against us. My name is Iwoji Nathan, Senior Legal Officer, State House. I thank the organizers and even the colleagues for attending. From what I've heard so far, I know you're going to be good ambassadors for the organizers as far as the vice is concerned. Whatever you have said, it is workable. And I thank the church or the religious council. It is true, the focus was general on HIV. There was also a campaign for hepatitis B, because I remember even the president also directed the OSF's officers and set out staff to be also vaccinated. And we got all those vaccines, but sickle cells, it has not been there. So now a lot has been said, and my request is, because for us, we operate the entire country. We move the entire country and even outside there. But you find that some of these programs, when they come, they focus in towns, the urban centers. Yet the carriers, most times they come from those rural areas. Because once someone reaches like the age of 15, thinks of getting a border and joining Kampala, they go to the urban centers. And for us, when you're moving there, we see a lot of people suffering. They have different diseases. Just that for us, we go for specific missions or assignments as directed by the president, I cannot intervene. But however, since I've got the opportunity to have an interface with you people, I am requesting that if this program matures, reach out to those rural areas. Thank you so much. I wish you the best.
Thank you very much. Today, we did not update you about some of the research programs which we are conducting. The people here are actually conducting a lot of research. The College of Health Sciences is conducting a lot of research in improving the life of children with sickle cell. But the Sickle Cell Foundation has been there, is one of the mother organizations which has been supporting patients. So we thought, Daniel, in 2 minutes, we have a PhD defense coming in this hall. We need to be leaving. So in 2 minutes, what have you been doing? How can you rally your other organizations speaking on their behalf? And how can you support these programs as we close?
Thank you very much, Doctor and audience. Sickle cell is not only a disease right now. It's an economic growth impediment of any family across Africa and across the globe. Each and every week, you will be running to the hospital. You need to pay money there. And these monies are not adding up. It's going out. We need a multi-sectoral approach, just like somebody tried hinting down there. We need the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development to be onboarded onto these fights. The Ministry of Finance, somebody hinted there. But I'm very grateful that through some of these engagement meetings, we have been brought together. And I want to inform you that as the foundation and other civil society organizations, we have been in position, my senior legal officer from SH, these organizations that you are seeing here have been in position to reach to the different corners of this country. Raising Hope has touched base in a number of places. Uganda Sickle Cell Rescue Foundation, somebody from Luero there, Eloi Ministries, the Sickle Cell Network. We are scattered and doing quite a remarkable job across the country. At these different foundations or organizations, sickle cell testing is totally free of charge. You don't pay money. Absolutely free. And we have enhanced the capacity of caregivers through organizing basic sickle cell care or home care management training for a number of them. If this has not yet reached out to you, it's just a matter of time. Key to also note is that we have quite a number of community health workers. People call them VHTs. We really also need to strengthen up their capacities. We have embarked on that across the country. And the other key thing is policy development. We have noted with concern that many times we only speak up on the face value, connotatively, but denotatively, things are happening in a different way. I'm glad that Dr. Idro made mention of Dr. Charles Opio. We have been trying to engage with him also together with Dr. Charles Ayume to see that can we have some of these motions tabled in Parliament? Can we have a law or something on premarital testing? Before you get married, please, can you get tested? If we had the same approach like that of HIV, the 95-95 cascade of elimination of HIV, believe me, we would be very far by now. And we need to have a deliberate action, and the people that can do this are the CSOs who are here and those who have not been in position to attend this meeting. Second last, male involvement. We have tried as much as possible to onboard men, because the moment the man learns that, hey, so this is the situation in relationship or this marriage, they disappear, they scatter. We need to hold men accountable. We need to bring them on board and have these conversations deliberately. And how can we do this? We have different organizations. My brother there made mention that now I can't work anywhere. The different HR managers or different corporate organizations, if time allows, can we meet? Can we call them for a one-on-one and discuss some of these things? If you miss work, your monies are deducted here and there. We need to have a conversation with them. Lastly, there's a lot has been discussed. We need to re-image sickle cell once again, rural areas. How can we do this? I was shocked. I'll not mention that district. The DHO hadn't yet seen what is called hydroxyurea in his life. It is possible. It is possible. How can we get closer to some of these people? You know, how can we bring them on board? Uma, I'm glad you're finally here. Can we take on this fight? Can we galvanize our efforts towards this special cause so that, one, we increase on sensitization, awareness? For your information, only 1% of about 43 million people or 48 million people in Uganda know their sickle cell status. Only 1%. Compare that to HIV. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to make sure that, one, we are together. And there's something which has been burning me. Sorry for taking time. Dr. Ruth, Dr. Dale, Dr. Idro, and all other participants here, we need to standardize treatment. What is being given in Kampala should be the same being given in Ramushunshu, in Kabale. Should be standardized. Down in Chiboga, down in Aleptong, down in Atutur, down in Nagongera. You know, we visited Nagongera. There is a clinic that receives about 40 to 50 new cases weekly. So that is quite alarming. But I'm glad that these CSOs that you're seeing here have managed to traverse some of these districts, and that's why you have these statistics available. Religious leaders, the fight is on like never before. And we shall hold you also accountable. We shall hold you accountable. The government, lastly, it hurts me when I sit here. Most of the people whom I work with are seated there. We work with a passion. She works with a passion. All these CSOs are driven by passion. Sometimes we do put in our own monies. The only active time, and I want to be on record, the only active time sometimes that we get a number of duty-bearing institutions talking about sickle cell on the World Sickle Cell Day. After that, it goes mute. It waits for another one. Can we come up together? Can we join the fight? Dr. Sarah Chiguli, this is epic. This is superb. Can we continue with these conversations, even outside this hall? Special thanks to beautiful lady seated next to me here. She's done wonders in this cycle. And you know it. Right now, we're having ongoing testing across the entire country, totally free of charge. Engage the different CSOs, reach out to them. Testing kits are available. The charge, these kits are free. Jump on the board. Apoyo Matek.
Thank you very much. And on that note, I'd like to invite Professor Grace Ndezi to come and say a few words and help us move to close this session. And yes, Daniel, we drafted the motion and worked with Dr. Pio. The motion is in Parliament. Let the CSOs help us to move and push so that that motion is discussed in Parliament, because it means resources. It's discussed in Parliament, money is allocated, and it pushes Ministry of Finance to get that money. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My work has been made very easy. All the answers you have, I'm only going to summarize a few key issues that have come out of this discussion. One is that I am not a very protocol person, so that's why I didn't address you by protocol, but I respect all of you. One is that we must adopt the principle of leave no one behind. Those of you who have heard about the Sustainable Development Goals for the low-income countries where we are not doing very well, we are now saying leave no one behind. And for sickle cell disease, we must say that leave no one behind, meaning that everybody must participate. The cultural leaders, the politicians, the community resource persons, all of us must participate. The teachers, two, is that we must utilize a graded approach. That's what I heard from the discussion, an age-graded approach, meaning that the young people, for the primary school children, which messages do we produce and disseminate? For the secondary schools, what do we do? The school-age children. For the young adults who are planning to marry, what messages should we put across? For the adults, the mothers, the fathers, and the entire community, we must look at that graded approach. Then, it includes everyone. Yeah, although I've not mentioned it. The other message that I got, or that comes from this house and the discussion, is the multi-sectoral approach. It's the same as leave no one behind, but in the multi-sector approach, you target people specifically. For example, the group of people that was here discussing were targeted. They are rich resource persons. So in the multi-sector approach, the government has to be involved, utilizing the different levels and the different ministries. Not only this is a problem that should not be left to the Ministry of Health alone and to the doctors. Then the resources and materials, who is the expert? We must consider who is the expert, and for us as our mandate as medical workers, as trainers, as researchers, we are willing to give you all the information that you need. We are willing to disseminate all the information, but we cannot work alone. We have to work with the Ministry of Health to package what is appropriate for each category. Resource mobilization will include funding. We definitely need funding to do this, meaning that we need to engage and involve the politicians. We have started, but I don't know, maybe Richard knows how far we have gone, but there's a fair attitude. What does sickle cell disease produce in this country? These people tending to think that this is a drop in the ocean. The Vice Chancellor said to him, this seems to be a neglected disease. We have lived with this disease for so many years, but HIV comes on stage, everybody's running.
let us use the HIV approach. We left no one behind, and that's why we are succeeding. Then it is very sad that because we are leaving people behind, the employers don't know anything about sickle cell disease. That's why they are stigmatizing these young people who are looking for jobs. Let us put an employment policy. Remember some time back, HIV, we had an employment policy of not stigmatizing people because of their HIV status. Give them time to go to the medical worker when they are sick. So, and then lastly, we cannot have all the money that we need. We can, if we were to draw a budget for sickle cell disease, I think it would be so much money. I'm not a politician, but let us utilize what we have. Let us all be the ambassadors of sickle cell disease in this country. Ministry of Health, the medical workers, allow us to go and talk about sickle cell disease to the entire population. Because when the ministry says they can do it all, they cannot. They need all of us. I think that is a summary of what we have said. I thank all of you for your brilliant ideas about the management and improving care for sickle cell disease in this country. And I would like to call upon Professor Sarah Chiguli, the principal investigator of these sickle cell initiatives in this country, to come and give the final remarks. The money that we are using is not coming from the government of Uganda, it is coming from NIH, National Institute of Health from the US, to support all these initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ndezi, and everyone who is here. Thank you for honoring our invitation. And we are committed to work with you, to see that the face of sickle cell disease changes in this country and beyond. I've listened and heard, and maybe, Daniel, this is a new beginning that will work with you. And you know, the challenge is that sometimes everywhere where we are, when we are working in our own silos, maybe we don't know that someone else is working. When the civil society organizations are there working, we may not believe that the sickle cell clinic in Mulago has thousands of patients. And many times I tell Dr. Namazi that you'll not be able to manage, but the whole country, that is how it is. But we have agreed to work together. And our dream as Sparco, as Enrich, was that, yes, we can work with stakeholders, we can work with communities that in the grassroots, we can work with families. All of us are affected by sickle cell disease, even if we are health workers. I would like, before I invite the Dean to say something, to request the Commissioner on Non-Communicable Disease, Minister of Health, Dr. Oyo, to say something. Dr. Oyo, please unmute and say something as someone at the ministry who heads non-communicable diseases.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor, and all the other professors in the room, and all the different stakeholders. I write on the protocols that stated before the discussions, somewhere in the middle up to the end. And I'm very grateful that the meeting has been organized and all the different stakeholders have been able to attend. So what we have discussed, we have taken note of, but just to let you know that we are very, very passionate about all NCDs, all the non-communicable diseases. Sickle cell disease is one of them. And our, passion is really palpable. So I just want to appreciate my colleague from CTHL and all the previous speakers. They have talked a lot, highlighted very important things that we are doing as the Ministry of Health, as government. And for the information of the consumption of the general, participant in this meeting, Uganda has one of the most robust sickle cell disease, program in the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. This is on record, it is known. So much as we are talking about the challenges that we have here and there, we do appreciate, but also let us know that we are doing very, very well with the limited resources that we have, with support of our partners, with the funders, that are giving us all this contribution. So this just to let you know. So when somebody is, saying that we only talked about sickle cell disease whenever there is World Sickle Cell Disease Day, I think I beg to differ from that position. We are doing a lot. But the key message to note here is that as Ministry of Health, we talked about disease prevention. And when we talked about disease prevention, we take care of all the range of diseases, infectious, genetical, and so on and so forth. But we also talked about integration. We integrate because at the moment, the resources that we have are not sufficient. Actually, sickle cell disease program has been running very well because of support of the well-wishers. As government, we do commit that we are going to do our best with the available resources and try to meet the needs of the population. I commend Professor Chiguli and the team for the study that is going on, and I'm glad I'm part of the advisory committee. And there are many things that we are doing together to change the face of sickle cell disease care in this country. So let us work together. We need to engage more of the community, the civil society organization, religious leaders, cultural institutions, so that we take the fight against sickle cell disease up to the household level. That is where we can win the battle. We have a lot of information about the disease. We know what to do, but it's a matter of putting our efforts together and the little resources that we have together so that we prevail and be on top of the game. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
What has been said here, yes, we should encourage the children, the youth. We should encourage screening before marriage. What we should not do is to make decisions for couples. What we should not do is to make decisions for couples. We should support whatever decision people take, okay? And let's trust that they will make the right decisions. Let's trust, even if they choose to be together, let's support them. Let's support them. I hope that the policy will not be there because it will increase stigma, okay? Let's do what we've said and let's support everyone. That is my prayer. I would now like to invite Professor Nachimuli to close this sickle cell engagement, but thank you all for coming. We'll have lunch before we go, but also before we go, we have a small transport refund for each of you. The people online, thank you very much for being there. There are more than 60 people, at one time more than 70 people, and some of them have been there all the time. This is just the beginning. We are going to move together. Thank you.
Wow, it's been a great day. I hope you all agree. And standing here, I feel very happy that this day has happened. I must say it has met my expectations and much more. We attend so many such meetings, but sometimes you leave, hardly changed. So, but to me, I live a very different person. And I feel I've lost an opportunity to be a big champion or advocate for sickle cell disease, but it's not too late. It's not too late, and I hope that's the feeling all of us in the room have. And as we come to the end of the day, I really want to thank the Principal Investigator, Professor Sarah Chiguli,
one of our colleagues, teachers, mentors in the College of Health Sciences, for working tirelessly to organize this meeting. This is a busy season in the university. Those who know we are in really going to exam time. And I really want to thank all the other colleagues in Enrich and Sparco, and many of the pediatricians in the room. And sitting here as a maternal health expert, I was wondering, how can we even be struggling to make a case for sickle cell, to get funding? So we really, beyond this room, I hope we shall have an opportunity, especially with a short report coming out of this day's events. I think as the leadership of the college, we need to see, because to me, what the Vice Chancellor said, that to him, this is obviously a neglected disease, was like, can you imagine? I'm hearing this for the first time after so many years in the medical field. It shouldn't be like, take someone else to tell us this, but I must say that's the feeling most of the healthcare workers have. And that has made only those who have very close people affected become champions. I think we all don't need to be first-hand recipients to feel that we need to champion the cause. So I look forward to the report and work with the principal. Good enough, really, this is directly under my mandate. And I think we really need to see if we start an institute of neglected tropical diseases, sickle cell disease can actually be the face of that institute. After all, even malaria, which should be one of our key diseases, many people, because it has a lot of international interest, they jump on it and call the shots. But here, it would be us determining the agenda. But for sure, many people out there are suffering with the disease. They have lived the consequences. And in the room, we are the converted. I think the work we need to do as champions going forward is really cut out for us. Even convincing colleagues, I know someone mentioned that we should get the medical students to test. To me, medical students actually, they converted. In fact, they are championing a lot of causes. Lisa, where are you, Lisa? Dr. Lisa Nansubuga. Medical students lost a colleague last year at Makerere in their final year. And they've been really championing this. They are always in my office telling me things they want to do. And to be honest, if we were to support them, they could even be the face of a lot of these things. As young people, they have energy, they have time, they can reach where we cannot reach. So I think we have a lot of resources on our hands to make a big difference in the world of sickle cell disease. So as most people have said, to me, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of what needs to be a very long time engagement to drive away the consequences of sickle cell disease so that we have healthier and happier Africans. And this is time for Africa, as you know. The future is Africa, if not the present. So we have to sort ourselves. We can't keep looking elsewhere. So thank you all for coming. I know we could have stayed here for a whole week and talked to sickle cell. And I saw that the interest was even rising as the day was getting towards the end of the symposium. But I hope the colleagues have left enough contacts. But if you're looking around, you're not finding them, just go knock on the Dean's office in the School of Medicine at Mulago, and we shall lead you to some of these big people are here doing great work for our community. Thank you all for coming, and I hope we shall not meet at sickle cell today to talk about this again. I hope we'll meet sooner than that. And we may not need a day, actually, we need a month, a sickle cell awareness month. We are doing it in maternal health for some conditions like preeclampsia. The whole month of May, we talk from the day one to last, and then we have a culmination into the International Day. One day will not be enough. What we have to deal with is much bigger. Thank you very much, and hope you have journey masses until we meet again, which again I say hopefully sooner than later. Thank you.